Mia, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. You're sorry? You're only sorry because you got caught. How could you sleep with my sister, you idiot? I love you, Mia. Please, I'm begging you. Olive, this wasn't the first time you cheated on me, was it? Mia, please. I only did it because you never pay attention to me. You're always so busy with work. That's no excuse, Olive. You are a lying, unfaithful bastard. I'm a bastard only because you never give me any recognition for my effort, Mia. It's like I'm never enough for you. Oh, you think you can turn it on me now? You're unbelievable. Please, Mia, I only did it once. I love you so much, and she reminds me so much of you. Are you listening to yourself? You're pathetic. Wait for my lawyer to serve you the paper, Olive. Please, And don't you ever call me again. You're fired. My name is Mia, and I'm a successful doctor in my 30s. Just a few years ago, I was dealing with the biggest drama of my life. I had been married to Olive for 5 years. Throughout those years, he was working at my clinic as a junior doctor. Despite being the same age as my husband, I was able to open my own clinic quite early because of my impressive profile and as well as my family background. Both of my parents were doctors, so I had practically grown up to be one. Because of our busy jobs, Olive and I didn't have any children, but I was really content with my life thanks to my fulfilling career. I had always known that I wanted to be a doctor, so I worked hard in college and medical school to achieve my dream, and my dedication paid off. I loved my job and was so passionate about helping my patients. I was really proud of all that I had accomplished. Despite my fulfilling career, things weren't the best on Olive's side. He once told me that he was feeling ashamed about working as my employee and not owning his business. I could tell he was feeling down about his career, and I did my best to comfort and support him. I made sure he knew that I was proud of him for the hard work he had put in. I reminded him that we were a team and that we both contributed to the success of the clinic. But it really seemed like my words didn't weigh much for Olive. He was determined to set up his own clinic and prove himself, even though I knew that Olive wasn't quite ready for it yet. That would take a lot of time, effort, and money. But I tried to help him anyway and did my best to avoid hurting his ego by accident. In an unfortunate turn of events, my father passed away. He was a beloved member of the family, and we mourned the loss of him deeply. I was struggling to balance my personal life and my professional life while completely consumed with grief. I just couldn't focus on anything else. On top of that, I had to take care of the funeral and all the needed procedures for my late father's cremation. Understandably, I couldn't help my husband with his clinic so much. I felt guilty that I couldn't be there for him when he needed me the most, even though I knew I had good reasons. Still, it was a difficult time for our relationship, and for the first time in years, I really felt like there was distance between us. As if things were not overwhelming enough, something completely surprising happened not long after my dear father passed away. On the day of his funeral, my long-lost older sister Kelly showed up. I was shocked to see her after all these years. She had left home when she was 15, and despite our best efforts to contact her, she never came back. She kept in touch with some of our family friends, but she completely cut us out, and so her sudden appearance made me suspicious. She had a reputation for dating and marrying wealthy old men, only to leave them the moment they fell ill or went bankrupt. I couldn't help but wonder if she was only back for the inheritance, because if that was indeed the case, our late father would have been heartbroken. At the ceremony, my mom revealed to me that my dad had actually planned to leave my sister some real estate, but with a condition. He wanted her to go to a rehabilitation center, and if she refused to do so, her properties belonged to me. I was shocked to hear this, and my mom added that Kelly had in fact refused to go to rehab multiple times. As a result, all of my father's properties became mine. When my sister found out about this, she was enraged. She even caused a scene at my own father's funeral, accusing me of stealing her inheritance. I tried to reason with her and explain the situation, but she refused to listen. Her behavior left me feeling hurt and disappointed. I couldn't believe that she was more concerned about the inheritance than mourning the loss of our father. It was an incredibly difficult time for our family, and the tension between my sister and me continued to linger even when the funeral was over. Surprisingly, just a few weeks after that, Kelly came back to apologize for her behavior. She promised to get better and make amends for her past mistakes. She didn't even ask for her cut of the inheritance. She just came to say that she was sorry. I could see the remorse in her eyes, and I believed that she meant the words she said. I couldn't help but feel sympathetic towards her. She was my sister, after all. After discussing the matter with my husband, I decided to offer her a helping hand. I knew that my sister had a troubled past, and I didn't want to turn my back on her when she needed me the most. So I offered to let her stay at my place for a short while, until she got herself a job and got back on her feet. Things seemed to be going well for all of us. My relationship with Olive somewhat improved, now that I felt better and could be more present around him. But boy, was I wrong. I really thought things were changing for the better, until one night when I suddenly got up because I heard some very strange sounds. It was as if someone was moaning in the distance, so loudly that they startled me. When I turned to my husband, I didn't see him on the bed. I immediately panicked, and my mind went to an incident a few years ago before we were married, when I found out that he was cheating on me. It happened at a house party, and it was just a silly kiss he had with another girl when he was drunk. The girl was wearing a very similar shirt to mine, so I thought it was just an honest mistake. When he begged for my forgiveness, I decided that we could move past it as a couple. But the fear of him cheating again never left my mind. And so, when he proposed to me, I asked him to sign a prenup on my terms. He immediately agreed to prove his loyalty. With that in mind, I jumped out of bed and went to the living room. I knew I had to find out where these sounds came from. My heart was beating so fast as I prayed to God that whatever I was hearing had nothing to do with my husband. But the truth was hurtful. As I walked closer, I heard the laughter of my sister coming out of the room. And when I reached the door to the living room, I saw everything with my own eyes. There he was, cuddling my sister right on our sofa. I didn't come any closer to see what was happening because I simply could not. I was physically sick to the bone. I just could not believe the fact that my loving husband was having an affair with my own sister. What kind of sick person would ever do something like that? I had such a hard time wrapping my head around what was happening. I quickly and quietly went back upstairs, where I almost immediately threw up. As soon as I could, I got in my car and left the house. I couldn't bear staying under the same roof with those people for any other second. They seemed to notice that I was awake, but were so drunk on each other that they didn't even know I left. What terrible people they were. I turned off my phone and went to bed. When I woke up the next day, everything felt terrible. My husband had been calling and texting me the whole night, but I didn't want to talk to him at all. I was so disgusted at what I saw that I couldn't bring myself to reason with him. I decided to go to the clinic just to take my mind off that whole messy situation. I wouldn't be able to work, but at least I could stay in my comfort place. When I arrived at the clinic, my assistant told me that someone had been waiting to talk to me. I was surprised to find out that it was not my husband she was talking about. It was Kelly. Kelly, what's going on? Mia, I don't know how to say this, but I need to be honest with you. Olive and I have been in love. That's nonsense. You have known each other for 3 months. You're disgusting to me. I'm sorry, Mia. I know it's hard to hear, but I had to tell you the truth, and there's more. I'm carrying Olive's child. What? How could you do this? I thought we were sisters. I'm sorry, Mia. I never meant to hurt you. Olive and I love each other, and we want to start a family together. Huh, very well then. What? I said, very well then. Do it. Marry him. Have his child. I'm divorcing him tomorrow. He's all yours. I'm sorry. Don't be. Goodbye, Kelly. I was ready to turn away. I didn't want to waste any time on Kelly or Olive anymore, but it seemed like my responses were not satisfying enough to Kelly because she soon let out her real intentions behind those empty apologies. You're acting strong now. What does it feel like to have something taken away from you, huh? What? You heard me. You think you could take away my inheritance? You think you're the favorite child? You think you could have anything you want? Well, I took away your life. Kelly, you're pathetic. What? You are? How dare you talk to me like that? Before you got with my husband, did you ask him about a prenup that we had? What prenup? The one that said if he ever cheats, I'll take all of our joint properties plus $100,000 out of his pocket. He'll be broke, you know. What? You're lying. I am not, Kelly. Olive cheated on me once when we were dating, so before we got married, I made him sign a prenup. He legally signed away his share of whatever we built together if he ever cheated again. And he did, with you. No, you're lying. He loves me. He would never do that to me. He told me he makes so much money. He told me he would take care of me. Oh, you really think that he loves you? I know he does. He said that I was the love of his life. Oh, Kelly, it seemed to me that he would say that to anyone. You're lying. You know he loves me. Okay, let's call him up and see, alright? I took out my phone and dialed his number right there in front of Kelly. Olive picked up in less than 1 second as if he was waiting for me to call. I put him on speakerphone. The bastard was crying like a baby. Mia, please, forgive me. I'm so sorry. You're sorry? You're only sorry because you got caught. How could you sleep with my sister, you idiot? I love you, Mia. Please, I'm begging you. Olive, this wasn't the first time you cheated on me, was it? Mia, please. I only did it because you never pay attention to me. You're always so busy with work. That's no excuse, Olive. You are a lying, unfaithful bastard. I'm a bastard? Only because you never give me any recognition for my effort, Mia. It's like I'm never enough for you. Oh, you think you can turn it on me now? You're unbelievable. Please, Mia, I only did it once. I love you so much. And she reminds me so much of you. Are you listening to yourself? You're pathetic. Wait for my lawyer to serve you the paper, Olive. Please, And don't you ever call me again. You're fired. I hung up and blocked his number. I looked straight at Kelly in the eyes and asked her, You still think that he loves you? There was no response. Kelly was looking at me terrified, angry, and filled with jealousy. I was done with her. I turned away and went inside my office again. The days after such a huge incident was really tough on me. I found out that my husband still had to work 2 jobs to pay for the debt that he owed me. Kelly, on the other hand, left home again, too embarrassed to be around. It turned out that she had made up the story about carrying Olive's child just to hurt me. There was no kid. She was just a lonely, terrible human being. Despite the heartbreak and betrayal, I persevered and focused on building a brighter future. With the money that Olive had to pay me and the inheritance my late father left, I poured all of my energy into my clinic, determined to help as many people as possible. I am now really content with what I have built, and I'm sure that my parents would be so proud of me.